Alright, horror fans, buckle up. Today we're driving into the world of Kronos the New Dawn, Bluebird's team's bold shot at new sci-fi horror IP. And this one, believe me, it's dripping with ambition, slime, and more than a few moments where you clutch your controller with the knuckles, your mouse will be literally flying into the wall because it was scary. So let's get into it. First of all, let me just speak to you what is happening in the game. The main thing, the hook, what is actually this game offers you. So the narrative of the game is quite simple in a way. You wake up as a traveler, an agent working for some mysterious organizations called the Collective. Your world is shattered by an event called the Change, which wrapped around into the humans monstrous being called orphans. Worse if you don't properly dispose of a slain foes that confuse with corpses around them, creating an even worse horrors. This mechanic is central and it forces you to deliberate, cautious, and sometimes ruthless. So let's talk about your mission in this game, and it's quite interesting. You basically explore ravaged wastelands, hunt time rifts, and developed into the past. It's 1980s Poland, which is also quite wild, and a piece together of the mystery of cataclysmic event. From the start, Kronos learns into dread. It's not about the jump scares every 5 seconds. It's more about kind of this tension, the crippling dread that everything that will literally meet you behind a corner and literally could make a horror. Yes, this is the type of game where you feel like that everything that is happening will be very strange. So let's talk about the mechanics, combat, and all this stuff. The combat is not your blockbuster bullet. It's heavy, it's clunky, and you feel the weight of every shot in the every swing. Because the movement and aiming is the relatively sluggish part where it makes you feel like you're kind of in the control, but you're also struggling with the horror, not kind of breezing through it. You'll have different kind of gadgets, starting with the melee obviously, but then going into the pistols, shotguns, and a lot of different small things that may help you. But you're always resourcing pinched. For example, ammo healing and all of these things are not really something that will be everywhere on every step. There is also this kind of survival horror feeling to it because you will need to manage it very well. Missed timings and failing to burn a corpse and you'll regret it. The fusion mechanic creating kind of like the merging into the corpse is one where you're literally gonna remember it. You cannot leave bodies lying around carelessly because this will literally hunt you down. And this is something that you can almost take as an advice from me at this point if you're watching this video. Believe me, you never need to leave the body open. Let's talk about the puzzles in the game because there are a lot of puzzles. The game sprinkles at them, not the huge brain buster kind of the ones that will literally make you sit by the hours trying to figure out what's happening, what you need to do, but enough to make you pause and think for a little bit, sometimes even to backtrack. This kind of brass shakers breaking up the tensions and making you appreciate the world much more. One gripe, the combat feels more kind of inconsistent because the gun sway timing really matters a lot and the occasions you feel like your shots don't register right. Some reviews even say that the scariest part is the frustration that creeps in from the guns, and I've seen it in the reviews on the Steam especially. Let's speak about the world and the atmosphere because in the horror games it's always about the atmosphere, and if the horrors lives in atmosphere, Kronos is often hits it by the hump because basically the environments are so grim, brutal, and decayed that you will literally feel like you are living in a horror. The concrete steel that happening in the game and the flash textures and the art direction learns towards the body horror and the decay, and I have to say it's very nice. The lighting is very moody, the shadows fall wizardly, and the room feels crumpled. One moment you feel in a filthy corridor, the next you're in surreal, strangely lit room that makes you question your eyes are lying to you. But this is the beauty of the game. The sound design in the game is also awesome. The creaking metal, distant groans, and the grip of water really kind of ambient hums. The audio works is sharp and sometimes, and often I would even say, feels like super great. I have to say it's amazing. And it's genuinely from my experience and from experience of the people that played the game and I spoke to. As for the story here, it leans towards more environmental telling, logs, diaries, and cryptic hints that will let you dig into the world, what's happening in the Poland of this period and the change and all of the collective motives. This is something that you will need to discover. You're not going to be dropped in and literally explained everything straight in your face. So let me balance this for you for the strengths and weaknesses in the game. The strengths of the game are quite simple. It's the horror vibe, which is very strong in the game. It works and it works very hard. The fusion mechanic, which is super clever, it forces you to kill everything and not just survive. You need to literally manage the kills. The world is rich with the details and the ton of lingering. The puzzles and explorations are great in the game, and it's got an ambience referencing the Dead Space, Resident Evil, even Silent Hill. You have in a way, like you will literally see it has its own past, but at the same time you will feel like some simple things that been inspired from different games. The weaknesses of the game. First of all is the combat. It sometimes feels clunky and frustrating. The pacing drags into places, and there are stretches where you feel like there's nothing happening. The inventory management system is something that gets into the way, and a lot of people literally complain about it. And I mean, it didn't kind of like make me feel like I'm playing not finished game, but it feels like, yeah, there's something that needs to be kind of worked on. Some story threads also feel undeveloped, but again, this is not something you need to focus on if you just want a great experience. But in general, saying here's what I definitely think about the Kronos the New Dawn, that even so it's not a perfect game, but it's a completing step forward in surreal, kind of like survival, surreal horror. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. You kind of get the echoes, like I said, of the Dead Space, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, but that's okay because Kronos brings its own flavor. There are moments where it kind of stumbles and combat gets clumsy, pacing drags, but it lands, like it's really hardly lands. The horror atmosphere is really good, the horror sticks with you, and in general, I feel like this is one of those games that you don't want to miss this year if you like horror games. Well, thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.